All right, today we're tackling a big one, pain. Specifically, we're diving into the gate control theory, a pretty revolutionary idea that completely changed how we understand what we feel and why.
So, to really get this, we gotta start with a puzzle. A paradox, really. Pain seems so simple, right? You get hurt, you feel pain. But when you look closer, it's actually full of really strange contradictions.
I mean, seriously, think about it. You whack your shin on the coffee table, what's the very first thing you do? You grab it, right? You rub it? And isn't it weird that adding more sensation, more stimulation, actually makes the pain feel better? How does that even work? Or how about this? Picture a superstar athlete in the championship game. They tear a ligament, a serious injury, but they just keep playing. Total focus. It's only after the game is over, after the final whistle, that the pain hits them like a ton of bricks. If pain is just a simple signal, shouldn't they have been floored the moment it happened? You see, these situations totally blow up that old idea that pain is just, a simple alarm bell. Like a wire runs from your toe straight to your brain's pain center. The reality is so much more complicated and, honestly, way more interesting. So, to appreciate just how big of a deal this new theory was, we have to take a quick look back at what everyone used to think. The old ideas were a starting point, for sure, but they just couldn't explain these puzzles.
For ages, the main theory was something called the specificity theory, and it basically imagined pain as a simple one-way street. You have specific pain nerves, and they have a dedicated, direct pathway straight to a pain center in the brain, kind of like a hardwired doorbell for pain.
And this is where the big shift in thinking happens. The old alarm bell view was super straightforward. You get hurt, a bell rings in your brain. No questions asked. But this new gatekeeper idea, it's revolutionary. It says that a pain signal is just a message, and that message can be turned up, turned down, or even completely blocked before you ever feel it.
And that's what brings us to the main event. The theory that gives us this gatekeeper idea is the gate control theory.
This was proposed back in 1965 by a psychologist named Ronald Melzack, and it was a total game changer. He argued that there's no direct, unbroken line for pain. Instead, he proposed there's this neurological gate right there in our spinal cord, and its job is to regulate pain signals on their way up to the brain.
Okay, so when we say gate, we're not talking about a little picket fence with a latch. It's a physiological process. The action happens in a very specific spot in the spinal cord's dorsal horn, an area called the substantia gelatinosa. You can think of this as the control room, where special transmission cells decide, hey, does this pain signal get through to the brain, or do we shut it down right here?
All right, so if there's a gate, what's the key? What opens it and what closes it? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how it actually works.
The whole thing really comes down to a competition between different types of nerve fibers. It's like you've got different messages all showing up at the gate at once, and they're all shouting to get the gatekeeper's attention.
Okay, here's how the race works. First, you've got your ouch signal. This is carried by small, slow nerve fibers. When you get injured, these guys get really active, and all that activity basically throws the gate wide open, sending the pain message right up to the brain. But, and this is the key, you also have signals for things like touch and pressure. These are carried on big, fast nerve fibers, the A-beta fibers. When these guys are fired up, they race to the gate and essentially yell, "Close it!" They're so fast and powerful they can overpower the small pain fibers and slam the gate shut. And that brings us right back to rubbing your shin. When you do that, you're activating all those big, fast touch fibers. They race to the spinal cord and tell the gate to close, which literally blocks the pain signal coming from the small fibers. So it's not just in your head, you are physically stopping the pain message from getting through.
But it gets even more interesting. The traffic at this gate isn't just coming up from your body. There's another player in the game, an incredibly powerful one. Messages coming down from your brain.
Yeah, this is huge. The brain isn't just sitting there waiting for pain signals to arrive. Nope, it's the command center. It's actively sending its own messages down the spinal cord, telling that gatekeeper exactly what to do. Either let him through or slam it shut now. And this is how we explain our athlete. Your thoughts and feelings have direct physical control over that gate. If you're feeling scared or anxious, your brain can actually open the gate, making the pain feel way worse. But things like excitement or intense focus and distraction, like say playing in a championship game, your brain sends these powerful close the gate signals. The pain is still there, technically, but its signal is being blocked before you can even perceive it. This is also how things like hypnosis can work, by tapping into that top-down control.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Why does all this matter?
Well, understanding the gate control theory has completely changed the game for how we think about and manage pain.
What it really does is give us a scientific reason for something we all kind of know already. Pain is personal. It's subjective. I mean, two people can have the exact same injury, but feel totally different levels of pain. And now we know why. It's because the volume knob for their pain is being turned up or down by their own personal neural gate.
And this understanding is the foundation for a ton of modern treatments. You ever heard of a TENS machine? It uses little electrical pulses to stimulate those large, fast touch fibers, the good guys, to help close the pain gate. And on the other side, you have psychological approaches, like CBT or mindfulness. These are all about training your brain to get better at sending those close-the-gate signals all on its own. So this leaves us with a pretty mind-blowing final thought. The gate control theory isn't just about pain. It really shows us this deep, powerful connection between our mind and our physical experience. If our thoughts, our emotions, our focus can literally change the signals traveling through our nervous system, it really makes you wonder, right? What else can our minds do? The power to shape our own reality might be way greater than we ever thought.